Okay, so where I left off in the last video, I just made this cut here. And my camera stopped. So we're going to have to do this in a couple videos. So this will be the start of video 2. Hopefully you're finding all this. So what I did is I skinned down along here, got to the base, skinned around the ear, got to the base of the ear, separated that, kept going down the side. Now I'll do it to this side so you can see what I've done. We have a complete explanation of what I'm doing here. So we're going to skin up around the base of the ear. You're going to have to turn this head in all different directions to get your angle that's comfortable for skinning. So the video is not going to be the greatest, but it is what it is. Just try to follow along best you can. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments, and hopefully I can get to you. Now, if you're doing a skull mount, you can be a little more aggressive. It's not going to hurt you none to cut the hide or anything like that, because all you're basically keeping is the skull. The hide's going to get thrown away, but we're keeping the hide because we're going to do a shoulder mount on this first buck, my son's first buck here. So what I did is you skin down, you get to the base of the ear there, you see that base, and you're going to cut right through that. Take your time, cut through it kind of slow, because on the other side you're going to be connected to the hide that you haven't skinned out yet. And there I come to the hide. And you might not be able to do it this fast. Take your time. Now we've gotten through both ears. Now I'm going to go around the rest of the neck, and then we'll show you how to get over the eyes. Okay, I come back to you here. Like I said, I'm going around the neck. And one thing you can do is set it up on the nose and the antlers. About every rack, unless you got a real goofy one, you can do that. And then I can work my way around that. This is a bad part of the video for anybody with a weak stomach. But if you don't have a weak stomach, keep watching. So there I get around the neck, and then I'm starting to come along the bottom of the jawline. And you can take that as far as you want to go, but you can see here I'm getting up around the eye socket. Let me get both sides about even here. And there I'm coming up on the eye socket on that side. So let me flip this over, I'll come back to you. Okay, so I've got her flipped over here, and here's you can feel that eye socket bone. And I'm going to cut on that eye socket bone. That's going to release the layer around the eyeball. And here you can, hopefully you can see this. I'm cutting around the eye socket here. I haven't cut any of this skin that's stretching out from the eyeball. I want to be real careful there. Let's get this one down to the eye socket. Same thing over here. You start to cut around this eye socket, and you'll see that you got an inner layer here to work with. I'm going to be real careful cutting this thin part. I'm going to start to expose the eyeball here. Do not cut the eyeball. You will regret that. Here, I'm going to bring this hide around the eye as much as possible. A lot of this you're going to figure out as you go. You're going to make mistakes. Keep going all the way through, even if you make a mistake. Every one I did wasn't perfect. This one might not be either. But now you see I've gotten past the eyeball. And here's the hole of the eyeball. Now I've got to that tear duct right here. We're going to be real careful around that tear duct because you can cut a hole in it real quick. And you'll see that there's a white line to it here. Sometimes you can take your screwdriver and kind of pop that out away from it too. That'll help you keep from putting a hole in it, but I've gotten good enough I can kind of get around with the eye. There we go. So now I'm past the eyeball and I'm coming down the snout and the jaw line. Now I'll do the other side and come back to you. Okay, so what I've done is gotten past the eyeballs. I've skinned this down. You're going to come down the jaw line and the snout as far as it'll go that you feel comfortable. And there'll be a layer of skin on both sides here that you're starting to get to the mouth. And you want to take your time. Don't go this fast. Gotten real lucky so far. Knock on wood. Whitetail Woody. Okay, so I've got it down to the snout. You want to flip it over. You're going to open the mouth up. And what you're going to do is cut along the gum line. The top and the bottom. You're going to cut along the gum line. Right down here. Along the top and bottom. So we're going to do the top part here. I'm not going to cut the lip, I'm going to cut the gums. This might not be the best videotape, but you get an idea of what I'm doing for sure. And you'll feel that bone. The same thing, you're going to start skinning that down. I know it's gross. It's part of what you got to get there. Part of what you got to do to get to the beautiful part, and that's the finished product. In memory of the hunt. So, and there I went and cut the hide. So I'm going to have to sew that. It happens. But I'll be able to patch and sew that, and it won't show up. So just remember, you're going to make little mistakes like that. Keep going. Don't give up. The finished product's going to turn out great. Now I've gotten down all the way. Now we're going to go in here. And you're going to get to the septum of the snout. And around the nose. It's going to get a little tricky. But cut that gum line all the way down. Just like that. Both sides. Just like that there. And then what you're going to want to do is cut through that septum, and you'll open up the nostrils of it, and then slowly trim the skin away from the bone there. Take your time. this part right here. Find that snout. There, I've released the septum and all that from the deer. There, I've gotten all the way through it. Now I'm going to cut this cheek muscle out on both sides. And we have the hide ready to be flashed and turned and mounted. Now what I'll do is I'll cut this straight down the front from the back. I'll have that skull plate to fit up here on our mount, and I'll get rid of the rest of it. So I'm just keeping the hide and the rack. So hold on just a second, I'll cut that. Okay, so what I've done here is, now one thing you want to remember, from the eye socket to the base of the antler, it's always going to be about 2 fingers. No matter what size deer, it's always about 2 fingers. So you're going to remember that. When you mount this deer and you set it up on its form, you're going to want to trim this if you have to where the eye socket's on a form, like this one up here. Hold on.